It's emotion that fuels a new habit.
Welcome to the Hopefulist, a daily talk show hosted by veteran broadcaster Wendy McClure. Join Wendy each day as she shares her life lessons that transformed her from perpetual pessimist to the ultimate hopefulist. The perfect morning show to get you caught up on the day's top stories while sharing insights that will lead to positive transformation and bring out the hopefulist in you. For more inspiration, visit Hopefulist.com. And now, here's your host and hopefulist, Wendy McClure.
Hello and welcome to the Hopefulist. Thank you for joining me for your daily dose of inspiration and positivity. Today's quote of the day is, focus your attention on the desires fueling the habit, not on the habit itself. So much good stuff in my new book, Badass Habits by Jen Sincero. I'm going to get more into that. I'm going to read a little bit from a chapter from the book to help you with a head start on your goals, dreams, and resolutions for the new year. It is almost New Year's. What is everybody doing? Sitting at home, I'm assuming. Is anybody getting together with anyone? We've got the neighbors coming over. Joe's making us a fabulous meal. We're going to play some games. We're going to try and stay up till midnight. We'll see. Have to get a nap in, a nice long nap in tomorrow in order to stay up until midnight. You know we go to bed at 8:30. So that is a long way from midnight. So looking forward to that. Then on New Year's Day, we'll be taking down the Christmas tree and all of the decorations, except for my nautical tree, which, by the way, is right in front of me every morning when I do my podcast. I think I'll take a picture of my view for you one of these days to show you what I am seeing as I'm talking to you each and every morning. I thought maybe a great question for the last question of the day, excuse me, would be to talk about your dream. And this is just a way of wording something to kind of flesh out your dream. So if money were no object, what would you do all day? And I like this question because it's not like, you know, if you had a day to yourself, what would you do all day? Because that's completely different. That's like a vacation. What we're after is what you would do if you didn't have to depend on the job you currently have to bring in money. So we got a couple of good answers. John says help the needy. Marnie says travel the world. Melissa says volunteer at the VA. Denise says play with animals. Marcy says refinish furniture, volunteer at an animal shelter. I still think I would come home with all of the animals. I really don't know if I could volunteer at an animal shelter. I would love to. I just think I would bring them all home. Cassandra says read books and drink coffee. I like this one. Now, Kathy has my dream almost to a T. It's crazy. Kathy says I would buy several homes. Me too. A farm in Montana. No farm for me. But where I can have my horses and other animals. A beach house in Hawaii. Yes, please. A cabin in the woods, maybe in New Hampshire. A beautiful apartment in Paris. And a brownstone in New York City in Central Park West overlooking the park. All I would do is go from one home to another and enjoy what each has to offer, spending maybe 2 months in each place. Yes, I've been talking about that in my gratitude journal and my goal list for the last couple of months. I want to spend some time. I don't necessarily think that I don't know. I'm on the fence about the buying a house part. I know I've got big dreams, big lofty goals. Oh, they will happen because you must believe. But yeah, I definitely want to spend some time in Hawaii when it's cold here. I definitely want maybe not a brownstone in New York City, maybe an apartment, or maybe, we'll just stay at the plaza when we're in New York for however long we're in New York for. Be able to travel to wherever we would like to go. The beauty of the job that I have now is I can do it from anywhere. So maybe we'll just go to Australia for 2 months. Maybe we'll spend a month in Hawaii. Maybe we will hit Europe and a bunch of different countries there for 6 months. Who knows? But this is the dream. This is the goal. And the reason that I ask you to think about that is because it really shows what it is your passion may be, what it is you truly want to do with yourself and your time. And once you figure that out, the rest is cake. Well, the rest is a cupcake maybe. There is still a lot of work involved. But the hardest part, in my opinion, is figuring out what it is you want to do with the rest of your life. We had a couple of people talking about volunteering and helping the needy, volunteering at the VA, volunteering at an animal shelter. You can do that right now. You can do that right now. Whether it be once a week, once a month, however often you can get it in, do it. If it's something that brings you joy, I encourage you to do it as often as possible. So think about that as we head into the new year. What is it that you would love to do with your days if money was not an issue? If you had all the money that you needed to pay your bills and, get the stuff that you'd like and all of that, what would you do with your days? I would sit outside in the sun, reading books, for sure. Blog post for today comes directly from the Badass Habits book. We are all riddled with habits. Habits we're aware of and habits we're oblivious to. Habits we love, habits we hate, and habits we love-hate. And habits that are just kind of are what they are. Like here I go putting on underpants again. I don't think very many of us spend a whole lot of time thinking about the habits we do or don't have. But as you prepare to create a new habit, taking stock of what you've already got going on is beneficial because it's inspiring to realize how many excellent habits you have. Becoming aware of your not so great habits enables you to change them. It's always nice to take the time to get to know yourself better. And you can pick up useful tricks and identify avoidable obstacles by studying your existing habits, which will come in handy as you create future ones. In order to familiarize yourself with your habits, please get your notebook, make 3 lists, 5 good habits that you seem to have always had, behaviors that you don't consciously remember creating but are very much a part of your identity, 5 habits that you've intentionally and successfully created and or quit, and 5 habit upgrades that you would love to make. At first, you may have trouble coming up with stuff for your list, but stick with it. I promise you, the longer you sit there and think, the more ideas will pop into your head. For example, here is what Jen came up with for herself. 5 good habits that she's always had. Being tidy, being quick and consistent with my pleases and thank yous, encouraging others, being grateful, and stopping to smell all the flowers in my path. 5 intentionally created or ditched habits of Jen's. Quit smoking, hydrating every morning upon waking up, making daily check-ins on mom, letting stress go more quickly, being more emotionally in tune and available. And 5 habit upgrades she would love to make. Slow down. Become a more active activist. Quit complaining. Don't groan when I get out of a chair. That's a habit that started as a joke, and now I perform it publicly and loudly. And finally, sing more. Research shows that in order for us to really stick to a habit, we have to believe in our ability to change. If you don't yet have evidence that you can transform whatever habit it is that you are working on, even if you have proof that you've tried to change and failed in the past, You have to believe that you can do it anyway, or else you will seriously half-ass creating this new habit if you ass it at all. Look at the first two lists you just made. The good habits you just naturally seem to have and the habits you've been intentional about. And take a moment to get a little stuck up about how inspiring and capable you are. You chose to make these habits part of your identity, whether you realize you were doing it or not, which means you can choose to welcome in the habits you've got on your third list, the habit upgrades you'd love to make. Believing that you're capable of doing something is easiest when you've got proof. But if you're attempting something you've either never tried before or have tried and failed, believing it's possible can be achieved at first simply by making the decision to believe. Just believing isn't as hard to accomplish as you might think. We humans decide to believe stuff all the time with little or no proof that it's possible or real. We decide to believe in a God. We decided to believe we can go to the moon. We decide to believe that our new boyfriend is not distant, unavailable, and uninterested in us because he's got really nice arms and a boat. Belief is a muscle. And when you're changing a stubborn old habit and really stretching yourself, a hell-bent decision is the perfect personal trainer to get your belief in shape. For example, when I became unavailable to be broke anymore, I had a teeny tiny inkling of belief that I could be financially successful someday. But my conviction was so wimpy and shaky that I needed to build a fortress of determined decidedness around it to keep my belief from withering and dying. In the early days, I decided to keep pushing myself to do all the stuff I had to do that scared the hell out of me. Get over my fraud complex and announce to the world that I was a coach. Put up a website with a picture of myself wearing makeup, charge actual money for my services, and to keep looking for proof that what I desired was possible. Good stuff, good stuff. There's one more thing I wanted to read you. Deciding to change your life means you've made an agreement with yourself that you're capable of and deserve this new identity. Deciding to upgrade your life is basically being super nice to yourself. It's like saying, self, you matter, and I'm going to roll out the red carpet for you. On the other hand, sitting around doing nothing, ignoring your health and happiness, and pretending you don't have the discipline to change the things you'd love to change are also decisions. Decisions that mean you've made an agreement with yourself that you're incapable of, uninterested in, or perhaps undeserving of this new habit. Being aware of both of these possible identities, the you that's in love with yourself and the you that's not feeling so special, will help you stick to your decision to stay the course. There you go. Some words of wisdom as we head into the new year. If you are looking to make big changes or little changes, stick with me. We're going to be talking about living with intention, habits, and setting goals all throughout January. Stay tuned. We are going to kick some major ass. I promise you that. Oh, have a happy, happy, happy new year. I will be taking the day off tomorrow and Friday. So don't text me with, where's the podcast today? I literally only got one text that said that, but it's still kind of nice. So have a happy new year. Be safe in whatever you do. I hope you have a sparkly new year. of course, I want you to be badass in whatever you do, because I'm right here, as always, cheering you on.
Thank you for listening to The Hopefulist, hosted by Wendy McClure. For more inspiration, please visit hopefulist.com. Thanks, and we'll see you tomorrow on The Hopefulist.
Happy New Year!